Hello, and welcome to Time Between Times storytelling with me, Owen Staton. Here we are again at the Time Between Times for a tale traditionally told. Diolch o galon. Thank you ever so much to everybody who watched the Pennard Castle special video I did last week. It was a lot of fun to make, and if you haven't seen it, it's below this one. Please have a watch and let me know what you think. I plan on doing one video perhaps a month where I can actually go to the location and tell the tale. The other ones, you'll just have to open your imagination for the time being. I hope you are all well. Please sit back and relax as we go to the time between times. The time when it's neither night nor day, but the sun has gone and the sky is grey. The time when the veil between our world and the fairy world is wafer thin. So thin that just for a few moments you can reach into their realm, and for a few moments they can reach into ours. Now is the time that people see lights in the sky. Now is the time that people see fairies. Now is the time that people see ghosts. Now is the time between times. So let me take you back, my friends, to the year 1487, a tumultuous time in the history of the British Isles. The Wars of the Roses had finished, and Henry VII sat on the throne, an insecure, very, very insecure throne. Many years before, two princes, two young boys, the hope of the British Isles, had disappeared in the Tower of London, presumed murdered by their uncle, Richard III. But just as Henry was starting to get comfortable, one of them re-emerged. It was said that he was Edward, the eldest of the princes, an heir to the throne of England. Many, many of the royals and many of the lords of the land gathered around his banner. He sailed from Ireland into England and fought a great battle against Henry VII at the Battle of Stoke Field. And there, standing next to him, was Francis Lovell, one of the most wealthy, well thought of, great lords of England. The Battle of Stoke Field took place all day, and many were slain. Horses charged over the field. The air was filled with arrows. But eventually, the pretender, who was now known as Lambert Simnel, was defeated and captured. All his supporters fled, trying to escape the wrath of Henry VII. And Lovell was no different. He fled back to his house, Great Lovell Minster, Minster Lovell. There on the banks of the River Windrush, Oxfordshire, rolling hills surrounding this great old house, great rock and brick facade, an oak door, stairways going up to many different floors, many different windows, many different rooms, cellars and places to hide. Henry VII was apoplectic with rage and searched high and low for Lovell. Back at his house, Lovell was in a panic. He knew that the troops of Henry VII would soon be upon them, so he summoned his manservant, Finis. Finis, my friend, please, I cannot hide or live under bush or tree or in a forest for many years. I must find somewhere to hide from Henry's troops, and just until things die down a bit. I'm sure he'll forgive me. My lord, said Finis, in the cellar there is an old place where we used to keep wine. It is behind the shelves where now yeast and barley is stored. There are no windows. It is very dark, but it's a place I can hide you. If Henry's troops come, I will say you have not been seen since the great battle. Every day I will bring you food until things are safe. Best we not tell anybody about this. You are right, Finis. Led by candlelight, Henry and Finis made their way down into the depths of the house, down the stone steps to the cellar. There were many old bottles and caskets. There were many old trappings of a centuries-old building, owned by the same family for hundreds of years. Nervous although he was, every sound, every murmur, every twitter, every sound, every bark of a dog brought Lovell to the edge of sanity, until they came to a room. They fitted it out with a table, a bed, a chair, and a single candle. Finis went inside, and they sat together and said a prayer, that things would be safe for Lord Lovell. Eventually, Finis left, for there was a hammering at the front door, and he feared the troops had arrived. He said goodbye to Lord Lovell, closed the door, locked it from the cellar, pushed a great shelving unit in front of them, and then went back upstairs. At the door were Henry's troops. They searched the house but did not find Lord Lovell. They said that more would arrive in the morning, and one man was to stay with Finis to make sure that the Lord did not arrive back. Finis, of course, agreed. And that night, Henry's captain and Finis sank a few glasses of wine while sitting in the great hall, Lovell Hall. As the night grew long, the captain told Finis of the Battle of Stokefield. He told about how his lord had fled without any sign of making up any fight. And he knew that he would be captured and taken back to London. Midnight came. The captain carried on telling his tales about how he had fought in France, about how well the new king was doing. He asked Finis for another glass of wine, but the servant sat with his head on his chest. The captain tapped him on the shoulder, but Finis slumped out of the chair, fell to the floor, stone cold, dead. The captain panicked, but there was nothing he could do to revive the servant. He had long since passed away. The next morning, Henry's troops came again, and the captain told him of the misfortune of the servant. Again they searched the house and found absolutely nothing. For the next 3 weeks, somebody remained at the hall, until rumours came that Lord Lovell had escaped to France, to Ireland, elsewhere, was not to be seen again. Of course, we know exactly where he was, locked in that room in the cellar. His screams echoed and echoed through the chambers, echoed through the cellars, upstairs, even from the roof. But the house was locked and empty for many, many weeks. His family did not return, and soon it fell to ruin. Lord Lovell's fate remained undiscovered until 300 years later. A great fire overtook the hall, burnt it. Some workmen made their way down to the cellar, and amongst all the charred ruins, they pushed away everything and found the door. One of them unlocked it, opened this long closed door, which opened with a creak, dust falling like rain, till they stepped inside, found a candle burnt down to its wick, and on the floor a skeleton in lord's clothing. The other side of the door was filled with scratches, where Lovell had died a long and painful death. As the workman grabbed the skeleton, it fell to dust. The story of Lovell's fate went throughout the land, and still today it is talked about. It is said at night, at the time between times, a time when it is neither night nor day, but the sun has gone and the sky is grey. Lovell's screams can still be heard in the ruins of the hall. Minster Lovell, the banks of the Windrush. It's like a jagged, broken tooth now. But still the screams from the cellars are heard on a nightly basis. One of the most haunted places in England. The tale of the fate of Lord Lovell is the one of which I tell you today. Thank you for joining me, my friends, at this time between times storytelling. We are coming up to the 100th video. Maybe you'd like to tell me what exactly you'd want to see for that 100th special. Please drop me a line at owenstaton@aol.com. Any suggestions? I will take a look. Follow me on Twitter at OwenSGriffiths, and if you are feeling really generous, why not buy me a coffee at ko-fi.com/Owen Staton. But in the meantime, please like and subscribe and share the videos, and join me again at the fire pit next week at the time between times. Take care, my friends. No starve.